Welcome back, everyone. Guess what day it is? It's a Friday. But the radiator has come in for Steven's Jeep. And if you can tell, it's snowing. Well, you probably can't see it snowing, but it is lightly snowing. There's a few inches on the ground, and we get to put it in. Tomorrow we're meeting up with John and Shanna, and Steven and me and Heather and Sterling, Jesse if he wants to go. And we got a ghost town or two we're gonna go visit, and a cemetery or two we're gonna go find. So we need to get Steven's Jeep back up and running. So today's project is putting in his radiator. So we talked about in one of our last videos the fact that my Jeep needs a radiator as well. Steven had a Mishimoto aluminum radiator in here. The warranty paperwork is in the storage unit in a filing cabinet. Probably not going to find it for a little while. So since we needed a second radiator anyway, we just bought the one for my Jeep. We will install it in Steven's Jeep, and then when we find the warranty paperwork, we'll send the Mishimoto radiator back, get it warrantied, and then put it in my Jeep. So it'll all work out, unless that takes us, you know, a year or so, and
then by then he's just gonna buy himself his own.
And this one actually works without ever leaking. Then we might just keep the other one around for a spare and buy one of these. We will stick this in. It's still got 2 rows instead of the single like the stock one, and so it will still should cool better. It does have the transmission cooler ports on it. Steven's is a manual, so we won't be using those. But other than that, should just go right in. So the cold case radiator comes with the traditional drain cock, but they never seem to seal. They always strip out. So Steven decided if he can get it off, that he's going to replace it with the one that came on his Mishimoto. If it's the same size, I guess is also another thing we'll find out. The one on the Mishimoto has a magnetic end, so it will collect any metal pieces or particulates in the fluid, and the other one kind of does. Stick it to the bumper, see if it'll stick. No, it's not magnetic. So anyway, it is just a solid plug, but if it fits, we're going to use it. And by fit I mean right size and thread. Oh, look at that, it feels like it's going to work. It's got a little O-ring on it, so no Teflon or anything needed. and snug. Do you want to narrate or want me to just keep narrating?
You can keep narrating. You're doing a pretty good job.
I'm passing. I've only done a couple. So the installation is just in reverse of removal. Pretty much be careful not to flatten any of the fins as you go along. Make sure everything's out of the way. It should just kind of slide right down in, and 4 bolts hold the radiator to the grill. Yeah, you're hitting the fan blade on this side, so let's rotate this a little. Alright. Oh, it's hitting that.
Very middle.
It's hitting. Can you go back a little more this way? It is hitting the end of the fan clutch. Alright, let's pull it out for a second. Well, I can tell you that just makes installation a little more tricky, because you got to take off the fan clutch. And the fan clutch removal requires big, huge wrench on that nut.
Yep.
And if you're lucky, it's not on there too tight that you can't get it off without having to go find our specialty pulley holder tool. So step one will just be seeing if we have a wrench here big enough. So using the specialty tool, basically slide this over one of the bolts, wedge it against the other bolt. You put a ratchet in there, and then big wrench. The fan clutch comes off. Let's get everything out of the way. And then slide the radiator down in.
Alrighty, so we got the radiator put back in. It's tight, doesn't move with those bolts there. However, we went to put the shroud back on, and the fan, I don't know if you can see, but there is no clearance between the radiator and the fan here, and trying to put it back on to the engine, so we're onto the pulley. So I don't know what we're going to do about that, but just another fun thing of what happens, I guess. We're going to see if we can't get the fan and the shroud back out, and then go from there.
One eternity later.
So that was about 14 months ago. Steven just ended up putting the radiator back in his Jeep so that he could make the trail ride that we were going on the following day. And since then, he's just nursed it along, making sure he checks the antifreeze level on a daily basis and takes extra coolant with him. So then, as he needs to add it, he can do so. If you look at the radiator though, you can definitely see that it has gotten to the point where it is leaking in multiple places across the front. And we do believe that this is from flex on the body, primarily on this front grill. We're looking at ways and options as far as how we can eliminate that. We do have the rubber grommets in there, you know, that came with it to help, you know, give it some flexibility so that it, you know, can kind of keep up with the flex of the body. But we're looking at some options to fix that as well. However, we do need to replace the radiator for now. So we found this fan clutch. Quadratech sells it. Not a sponsor, but I've heard, reviews I've seen, says that with this fan clutch, replacing the stock one, you can then put the Mr. Cool radiator in here that we have purchased and we want to put in here. So we are going to pull the radiator out, pull the fan, replace the fan clutch, do some measuring, see what it's going to take, make sure that it's going to work, and hopefully by the end of the day we'll have it all back together again and we will be able to not have to worry about that, at least for a little while. I think earlier in the video I said we had a Mr. Cool radiator, but it's actually a cold case radiator. There's the Mishimoto that we took out. You can see a definite difference in thickness. The cold case is thicker than the Mishimoto, which is why we couldn't get that to fit before. However, I really hope, and again from a couple of reviews I saw, the difference, that 1/4 inch difference on the fan clutch allows us to get that cold case in there. So we'll get the fan put back in, then we will see if we can't get the radiator slide in. All right, so we got the radiator in, it fits. The clearance was just right. Actually, there was a little bit of clearance, and the space between the front of the clutch and the radiator is right where I would like it to be. Everything's on, fan moves without hitting anything, everything's good that way. Clutch feels good. So now we'll just finish putting on the hoses and put the drain in it and then fill it up. All right, that was successful. Only took us a year longer than we had hoped to get it in, but the new one's in, everything's connected, everything seems to work. Tested the hood, it all closes like it's supposed to. So anyway, just FYI for those of you who are looking for a little clearance, the Quadratech replacement fan clutch should give you enough clearance to go with a slightly thicker radiator and fix any alignment issues or, you know, space issues you're facing. So anyway, we appreciate you watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share. Leave your comments below. Let us know what we can show you next.